What's happening, people? Shay here. Only even bounce up, you guys are well. So we're on the eve of the inaugural World Test Championship between the two top-ranked sides, India and New Zealand. They go head-to-head in the 5-day test match starting tomorrow in the GS Bowl, Southampton. So down on the south coast, in my neck of the woods. Obviously, joining me today on the show to discuss this. I'm basically it's like an old Survivor. If you know wrestling, it's like an old WWF Survivor Series matchup. I'm versus the four guys, like Hulk Hogan versus the Hart Foundation in Demolition. I'm not even sure how to coin these four guys here. But anyway, we've got Aditya Mehta, we've got Sai Banerjee, we've got Krishna Kalki, and we've got Anurag Reddy back on the channel. It's been a while. I've missed that old aircon unit in the background, Anurag. I have to say, I've missed that, man. But anyway, but good to see you guys anyway, man. Sai was too soft. He actually busted out his helmet before we went live. For some reason, he thought that his haircut would actually be look any better. I beg to differ, to be honest. But let's not get into haircuts because he's got a detail on the show. We don't want to upset him as well, do we? So anyway, we will get into it. We'll start obviously with Team India. And they've also announced their starting 11, which is open the batting, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Cheteshwar Pujara, Captain Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, Mohammad Shami, Isant Sharma, and Jasprit Bumrah. So that's the starting 11 for India tomorrow. We should say, obviously, before we get into it, that the rain is forecast for all 5 days. It's really annoying because we've had incredible weather over in the UK for about 10 days now. I think today was actually raining, but before today it was 25, 26, sunshine. And this happened. There is a sixth reserve day, I believe, set up for the match. So anyway, we'll go around the table quickly. Detail you got your limited time. We're just going to really kind of your thoughts on the India 11 and any changes you would have made, if any at all. Aditya, we'll start with you.
I think the question generally would be whether you want to play one spinner or two spinners. And this time India has gone with two spinners and three fast bowlers. So I don't think I'd make a change, but I was surprised to see Mohammad Siraj not selected in the 11. In these conditions, I think Mohammad Siraj would be more than a handful. But in saying that, I think the pace trio is still quite potent, as is the spin duo of Jadeja and Ashwin. But in saying that, we'll see how we'll see if it rains, and it looks like it's definitely going to rain on at least some of these days. So we'll see how that impacts the pitch conditions and I guess the general approach of the Indian team. But no, overall, I don't think I'd make any changes.
Sign, obviously, I think we've mentioned before, now the weather obviously looks going to be a bit overcast and quite wet. Do you think it was quite a surprise that India went in with two spinners? Also, Jadeja come back from injuries back for some time. Ashwin performed so well in the England Test series, albeit just England at home, let's be honest, on those pitches. But do you know, was you surprised maybe they left out Siraj and brought in Jadeja? Or was the fact that only five frontline batsmen, they wanted to show up that kind of lower mid-order batting?
Oh, is it for me?
Yeah, for you, mate. Yeah.
Sorry. So actually, I was not quite surprised that Mohammad Siraj was not picked because I believe they went for the topic was really between Siraj and Shami, right? And I think they went with experience. However, if we look at the track record, Shami's average in England is quite high. But what it does not show is that there have been a lot of drop chances or maybe wrong calls. Like he has gotten unlucky a few times, like edges going for 4. So it doesn't quite show that. And also, I believe Shami is a beautiful fourth innings bowler, right? I think he's one of the best we have right now. So it's not surprising that Siraj has been dropped for him. Also, there was another conversation around the opening partnership. Should they pick KL Rahul or Mayank Agarwal? But what I believe is KL Rahul has been there in the team for a slot in the middle order, right? And so really the conversation was around Rohit Sharma, Mayank Agarwal and Shubman Gill. And also in the practice match, it was Rohit Sharma who scored a 120, I believe, and Shubman Gill who scored a 85, and Mayank Agarwal didn't score much. So I think that proved that these two had to open. So yeah, that's it.
Cool, thank you, Simon. Someone I know is a big fan of Mohammad Siraj is Anurag. Obviously, multiple times you talked about his qualities. Do you think, obviously, looking at the three seamers they picked, would you have squeezed in Siraj for one of them, or possibly dropped Jadeja or even Ashwin for this match, Anurag?
I think if you see the selected 11, it is a no-brainer. They've been performing consistently, so the squad picks themselves. But one controversial opinion that I would put in was, with the wet weather predicted for throughout the test match, why would you pick two spinners? I mean, is it due to you're looking at the two left-handers where Ashwin would target, and the rest of them being the right-handers where Jadeja could actually pounce on? But again, picking two spinners and one of them actually getting underbowled due to the wet weather is definitely going to happen. It's either Jadeja or Ashwin, depending on the type of batsman playing there. Again, if you see the three seamers, they've been performing consistently. But if you compare Mohammad Shami with Siraj, I think I'd prefer going with Siraj because he adds that extra pace and extra zip when compared with Mohammad Shami. But the selectors again went with experience. So again, yeah, Shami has to come in to the squad.
Krishna, we'll move to you. I think I touched on it before with Simon that you've only played 5 frontline batsmen. Obviously, the Mercurial Tarrant and Rishabh Pant coming in at 6. But the likes of maybe Shubman Gill making his debut in England. Then you've got obviously Ajinkya Rahane, which for me polarized opinion at 5. Rohit Sharma gets a moving ball in these conditions. For me, there's possibly a little bit of brittleness in that top 5. side. I'm jumping on that to jump on that. I can see the hand to wave. But seriously, I feel there's a bit of brittleness there. I know see Pant at 6, but was there an argument for one of your favourites, Agarwal, to come into that top 6 to maybe drop one of the spinners or even possibly one of the seamers, unlikely as such. But maybe would Pant at 7 been a better option for this match?
It's very tough to decide that. It's very tough. The only thing I would say is, I mean, it depends on what you really want to go with is your combination. Like if you want to have Pant at 7 and play an extra batsman at 6, then it would make sense to play 4 seamers. And if your 6th batsman was maybe a Vihari or maybe a Jadeja, then you could argue playing 4 seamers and maybe that batting looks a little longer. But then again, it's very tough to say. Now, with respect to Mayank Agarwal, and I know you really wanted to ask me about Mayank Agarwal, so I have an answer prepared, so don't worry. So with Mayank Agarwal, right, I think it's the rhetoric that I've been hearing is that Mayank Agarwal is much better at playing the ball that swings away. Right, Shubman Gill had problem with that, especially in against England in the home series, right? So Mayank Agarwal would have been a better choice, and also he's been the more consistent. Like he's only had 2 bad test matches. If we really look at it, he's only had 2 bad test matches. Like besides those, I mean, which were in Australia, but besides that, he's been playing consistently really well throughout the World Test Championship, right? Also, but I think there's also one thing to take into account is that when you look at incumbency and you also look at who's had more cricket out there in the center. Mayank Agarwal has only had T20 cricket in terms of the IPL. He hasn't really had much ODI. He had like 1 ODI, I think, in Australia, and he had no test matches after that. After that, I think the second or third, the Brisbane test where he batted at 5, right? And he got like 10 balls to bat in that game. So yeah, it's a tough call to leave out Mayank, but I think honestly it was one of those calls where you really don't know whether you're wrong or not. Like you can't justify leaving Gill out of the squad as much as you can't justify leaving Mayank out of the squad. So I honestly don't see any problems in that selection or that dropping of Mayank and choosing Gill. I don't see a problem there. But I think when it comes to 6 batsmen versus 7 batsmen, I think you need to have 4 front. You need to have really good quality bowling. And that's the most paramount thing if you want to get rid of this, if you want to get through a very strong New Zealand batting outfit in the form of Devon Conway, Kane Williamson, Latham, Taylor. I mean, the names are they're just so terrifying, right? You just look at that and it's a very strong batting order. So you need a very strong bowling attack. Are 4 bowlers enough to get rid of New Zealand's batting order? I don't know, but better to be safe than sorry. So, and Jadeja at 7 adds a great balance. You need Jadeja. I mean, Jadeja, the reason Jadeja is there, as a batsman alone, as a fielder alone, as a bowler alone, he makes the cut. He's somebody who plays well in every field, every format, everywhere, right? He's one of those kind of players. He's one of the best all rounders in the world. So I think leaving him out of the squad was was just not possible. Leaving Ashwin out of the squad also in a way is not possible because he's been so good as a spinner in the past few months, and he's also handy with the bat. So yeah, I think in terms of sheer value that the players bring, irrespective of conditions, I think those two selections are not really something you can disagree with. If I can put it that way.
Fair enough. I think so. We're all in agreement pretty much that is the best team they picked. I mean, do you think maybe that one of the reasons maybe obviously they know they're going to lose overs in this match. Obviously, to win a test match, you've got to take 20 wickets, right? And you can do it in 3.5, 4 days as opposed to 5. Maybe that's why they've gone with the most varied attack, and obviously a 5-man attack because they need to set 20 wickets. And it's not going to be 5 days cricket ultimately, is it? It's going to be less. So maybe it's why they've gone in quite aggressively. But I think obviously, Christian, I have to agree with you. Jadeja as a batsman alone, you could argue, is getting to the side anyway. The guy's averaging almost 50 in the last 2 years. So I think him at 7, and even Ashwin at 8, it's still a fairly lengthy batting lineup, to be fair. If we move over to New Zealand, now they haven't obviously announced their 11 yet. I believe that Kane Williamson and Vijay Watley have been declared fit. Obviously, both missed the second test match against England, which obviously they won. Who do we expect to play tomorrow? Aditya, do you want to, if you maybe you give me the top 7, you want to give me the team, and I'll go to Cyan and ask his opinion on the 11 for New Zealand.
Okay, so I think Devon Conway is definitely going to play, as is Tom Latham, Williamson, Ross Taylor, Colin de Grandhomme, Vijay Watling,
Nichols.
Henry, Nichols.
That's 7.
Trent Bolt, Wagner, Saudi, and probably going to take a spinner. But I don't think Santner's playing, so I don't know who.
Santner's not in. Patel's edged him out.
Patel's
edged him out.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be So I don't think New Zealand's going to play 2 spinners. They play 1 spinner and 4 fast bowlers.
So Wagner, Bolt, Southey, and Patel make your 4-pronged attack with the Grandhomme supporting them. Yeah. So no Jameson, the guy who ripped you guys a new one 18 months ago in New Zealand.
Yeah, Kyle Jameson, he's got to play. Yes, of course. How could I forget Kyle Jameson?
Yeah, because I mean, you guys. I mean, I know Cyan's still having night sweats over 18 months ago, where that New Zealand just kicked your ass all over the place, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? I also.
I mean, yeah, we're coming back at you tomorrow. No problem. I knew this was coming.
You're going to see a 6'8" shitstorm coming your way, man. He's coming your way, boys. Trust me, he's got it. He's got it. Gil is like a sitting duck, man. Trust me. They're gonna.
I have one trivia right here. So Gil has played.
You always put because it's Kolkata, man. That's why you on Gil, man. Come on.
No, not because of that. Okay.
You play for Hyderabad, you won't care, man.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's like Matt Henry for Krishna, right? So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't get me started on Matt Henry, man, please. No one mentioned Matt Henry, by the way.
Gil has played. Henry's not making it in, I guess. Okay, so the trivia is Gil has played 4 finals, right? If we count the under-19 ones, right? And I'm also counting the Gabba one as a final, right? And he has scored brilliantly in all of them. This is one of those finals, right? So you better be scared.
I mean, does anyone want to disagree with Cyan at your peril, probably? But I mean, we'll leave Shubman Gill alone for a little while, just for a couple of minutes. So I'll come to you anyway and just talk about the starting 11 for New Zealand. You concur with Aditya. I think the top 7. You could argue for de Grandhomme. I think a little bit. Maybe does he get a place? Because is Patel strong enough? Sorry, Jameson strong enough to play at 7.
So the thing is, What I believe New Zealand can do is, looking at the conditions being overcast, they might go with all pace attack and no spinners. Maybe Williamson gives in a few overs of spin, right? And they go in with so Saudi, Bolt, Wagner, Jameson, and De Grandom. So that is something that they can do. See, looking at the conditions, and then Williamson pitching in with some spins. Because Ajaz Patel, I don't think he's that accomplished a spinner right now. However, although he played really well against England, but I don't think he'll cause that much trouble. And also, like, he'll not bowl many overs, right? As I've seen, the trend in New Zealand is, for example, we might rely on Ashwin or a Jadeja looking at the batsman, but they won't rely on Ajaz Patel for picking wickets, right? He might just be to change ends or just to pitch in a few overs, right? So I believe that they might go in with an all-pace attack tomorrow.
Really? Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Anurag, would you agree?
I think you guys really underestimate Colin de Grandhomme as a bowler. Well, if you remember in our previous podcast, I told you how the Indian team tries to face Broad and Anderson and give wickets to Moeen Ali and Rashid. So tomorrow, Colin de Grandhomme is going to be that guy which we are going to give a 5-wicket haul there. He's going to be that guy who comes out of syllabus. We prepare for Bolt, we prepare for Jameson, but end of the day, you give wickets to this guy. So I think this Jameson guy has to be there. He has to replace Daryl Mitchell, and Ajaz has to be there as a left-arm spinner just to add variety in case the sun comes out. So I think whatever Aditya says, I concur to it. That is the squad I would pick. But yeah, de Grandhomme has to be there.
So de Grandhomme's in the top 7. So if Patel plays, then use your three seamers.
I
From
might
Saudi,
have to drop
Bolt.
Wagner because I don't need an aggressor against the Indian batting lineup. I just need a left-arm seamer who can bring in the ball to right-handers. That'll do the trick for them.
And that's Trent Bolt, obviously, with the new knot.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
Saudi plays, and obviously Jameson. I think
But
Jameson definitely
do you?
plays.
But like, do you drop the world's best first change bowler? That is Wagner. That is the question
Well,
right now.
That's correct. But again, I don't need aggression to topple the Indian batting lineup. I just need a little bit of swing into the batsman.
What's your thoughts, Christian, on this?
Bring Matt Henry. No, in all seriousness, now I think see, firstly, do New Zealand need a spinner? That's our first question mark. Secondly, I think Anurag pointed out Colin de Grandhomme being the sort of the dark horse bowler that we're not prepared for. But also, like, I think to add to that, a great point would be why not Jameson at 7, right? And then that allows you to play all 4 fast bowlers and the spinner in Ajaz Patel, right? So I have no clue what they're gonna do, but I think for sure Jameson, Bolt, and Saudi will play. I think these 3 will definitely play. I just feel that New Zealand are gonna go with an all 4 pace attack because if they really wanted a spinner to add variety, they have Williamson who can do it. Like, I think Williamson is more than capable enough to do it. I don't think they need a proper left arm spinner, or I don't know if Ajaz Patel is a left arm spinner, but they don't need a proper spinner in Ajaz Patel. I don't think they'll need that if they have the 4 seamers. Williamson can offer just if you just need a bowler to sort of just get through some overs and just change ends and stuff. Williamson will be happy to do it. So I don't see Ajaz Patel being needed. So yeah, I think 4 seamers would be better for them and Williamson.
I mean, when England played, obviously, the all-seam attack in the first test, actually, with both tests, he played, obviously, all-seam attack, but New Zealand played a spinner. It's interesting when they might go with a full-seam attack, because the thing is, they've got no real part-time spin bowling options. Like, England have a Joe Root. You've got Kane Williamson, but, I don't think they really have much there, somebody can bowl a few overs. I think they actually will go with a spinner, personally, and I think Wagner might make way. I just feel like Jameson at 7. I think the balance is a bit too weak. I think the tail starts a bit more. Jadeja at 7 compared to Jameson at 7, to me, is a world difference. And with Ashwin at 8, who's going to play 8 if Jameson at 7? You can play what? Saudi at 8, Bolt at 8. It's just, you know what I mean? But even him at 8, I just don't see him being number 8. I just don't see it. He's more like a 9, 10. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. I think they'll play the Grandhomme. I think they'll be a bit wary of that, especially the fact that India have announced their 5-man bowling attack. They probably think James at 7's probably a little bit too brittle. And that's my personal opinion. Aditya, who do we think Real is an India fan? Obviously, who is the greatest threats to Virat Kohli and his men tomorrow?
From batting perspective, say Devon Conway because of recent form. Kane Williamson is always going to be a threat, and experienced campaigner Ross Taylor. And of course, I wouldn't underestimate BJ Watling. This is his final Test match, and I'm sure he's got some reserve in the tank to be able to put out a solid performance. If you talk about the bowling, then of course again Saudi in recent form, he was brilliant against England. Trent Bolt is always a threat, and say Neil Wagner. I think he's got that mongrel in him, where he's always willing to put up a fight, and I think that I don't know if his natural New Zealand length will work here. Where he just continuously pitches it short, but if he bowls the way that he has been against England, he has the potential to trouble the Indian batsman. But I think all in all, all 11 players in the New Zealand team can pose a threat. It's a world-class professional outfit, and they deserve to be in this final, and I'm sure they're going to make a statement.
Right on. Sorry about you. What do you think are the greatest threats for the India over the next few days?
So from bowling perspective, I would say Kyle Jamieson, because he took a 9 for, if I'm not wrong, in New Zealand. Tim Southee, Trent Bolt, of course. From a batting perspective, it would be Devon Conway, BJ Watling, considering I hope he doesn't go the McCallum way in his last Test. And I would say, only these two, because Williamson's average is terrible in England. It's 11 or 13, something like that. So he's not a threat.
That's it. All right, who do you think will be turning up tomorrow for Team India? Who's going to be turning up? You think? Obviously, Virat Kohli. You imagine, obviously, big game player. Anyone else that we could talk about?
I think it's real time for Pujara to pull up his socks, because he kind of averages 29 in England, and he's really not that good when the ball starts swinging. I mean, even in South Africa and even in England, his averages are not up to the mark. But in pitches where there's bounce and pace, he's really good. So I think it's time for Pujara to step up, score huge runs in this Test match, tire down the New Zealand bowlers, and he's going to be the winner for us tomorrow.
What about Rahane? Are you backing him to succeed and score a few runs this Test match?
Yeah, for a guy who averages more in away conditions, I'm definitely going to back him. He's going to score a patient knock so that he can shepherd the tail as well. So yeah, I'll back Pujara and Rahane to do the scoring.
Krishna, about you? Who's leading the charge for India getting that trophy home?
So I think
SG
King Kohli is due for a big one. He's really due for a big one. And I think this is his moment to stamp his authority and show the world why he's the best Test captain in India of all time for India. So I see Kohli making an impact. I see Pujara also making an impact, like Anurag said, because I think this Test match is going to be a battle of discipline, not a battle of flamboyance and aggression. Because New Zealand are a very disciplined side. They try to win their matches with discipline. So I think it's also India. India will also have to respect the nature of this Test match and the nature of the competition by also playing with discipline and playing smart cricket. So I would say Kohli, Pujara. I hope Rahane has another Lord's 2014. I don't know if it'll happen again, but I really hope so. But yeah, for me, Kohli, Pujara, maybe Rohit as well. With the bat, with the ball, I see Bumrah. Obviously, Bumrah is going to make a huge impact, and I'm going to pick a little X factor in Jadeja as well. So, yeah.
Aditya, I'll go to you. I know you're going to go in a few minutes. So, what's your kind of thoughts on India side for tomorrow?
Okay, so I think because this looks like a potentially rain-affected game, strike rates are going to matter more. So I don't know if massive 150s are going to win the game as opposed to quick-fire 80s, and therefore I think Rohit Sharma playing a quick knock at the top of the order, and Rishabh Pant playing, quick fire, like 85 of like 90 balls. I think that's the sort of batting that has the potential to win India the game, and I'd say the same for New Zealand as well.
What about the old warhorse, Ishant Sharma? I'll say you talk about Lord's 2014, about Rahane. I think about Ishant Sharma bouncing them out 7 years ago. He's 33 years old now, leading that attack. Could he obviously be that kind of diamond, the real X factor bowler, Sion, you think, tomorrow?
Absolutely, he can be that one because he's India's workhorse, right? He can bowl in those long overs, hold in the line for the first bit, bowl that fourth stump line. He can absolutely be that bowler. And along with him, Bumrah. I also believe Ashwin might just turn up and take 4 wickets to cross Pat Cummins. And let me just announce my surprise batsman. Okay, I'm gonna pick the 2 Gabba heroes. Okay, Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill. These 2, they're winning us the match.
And there we go, back to Gilley. There we go. Anyway, so I think we're close to wrapping up, to be honest with you guys. Anything else you want to talk about the match tomorrow, or is there any players you want to discuss, or any topics maybe around the test?
Something in the chat box.
Yeah. So I think we should definitely address the historic nature of this test match. I think that's something we should definitely talk about.
Do you want to start, Krishna?
Oh, you want me to start? Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a big monologue. So, firstly, I just want to say, as a cricket fan who's been watching cricket since India won the 2007 T20 World Cup, that was the first time I started watching cricket, and that was a huge moment for me. A huge moment for India as a cricketing nation. I think this is almost equivalent, if not more important or more historic than the first T20 World Cup. This is the first Test World Cup ever in history, right? We have not had a Test World Cup till date. We have not had an event that celebrates the champion of Test cricket. We've had Ashes. The Ashes is probably the biggest Test cricketing event we've had till now in cricket, but this is beyond everything, right? And I'm feeling a little emotional today. I really am. I'm feeling a little emotional about the test match that's happening tomorrow. I'm just thinking 1.3 billion Indians and 5 million New Zealanders are going to tune in tomorrow to watch the greatest sport of all time, Test cricket, being played in the most amazing context. I mean, we've had 2 years of exhilarating cricket, fantastic cricket, just heart beating non-stop. I have not seen anything like this, like that India-Australia series, the India-England series. There was just so much to be happy about, and so much joy to celebrate, especially in these troubling times. So, I mean, to just cap this wonderful season of 2 years with this final, I think is just monumental. And today I was just thinking about all those cricket fans who existed in the 1800s and 1900s. The people who used to come in their checkered shirts to the Lord's MCC. They used to come to places like Melbourne Cricket Ground. With the hats and with the beers of the 1940s, and to watch Don Bradman bat, to watch W.G. Grace bat, all these mega superstars of those days, right? And a lot of them are not alive today, right? And I'm pretty sure they had dreams of watching a Test World Cup, or some sort of event that provides this much context and this much sort of a euphoria to it, rather than just a bilateral series, right? So I just really hope that we've honored their memories and we've honored their legacy as cricket fans by giving them a Test World Cup, and wherever they are from up above, I hope you guys are watching, and I hope you guys are enjoying the spectacle that's going to happen tomorrow. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Oh, very well put together there, Krishna. I have goosebumps, man. You can't see him, but it's a little crazy, man.
No, a better job than Star Sports.
Indeed, yeah. Now, you know what? That was very well said, actually. I think it's important here to actually acknowledge the historical context of tomorrow's game, the inaugural Test Championship. And because I think we've always talked, haven't we, about all we've gone off is number one ranked team in the standings. But this has been really, after the last 2 years, has really proven who's best Test side, which obviously I think is going to be New Zealand in 5 days' time. But we'll see. We'll see soon, though. That's the one I decided not to be honest with you. I mean, is there anything else you want to kind of wrap up with before we do our predictions and shoot off?
Is it for me?
So basically, let's see.
Both of you, actually. Just kind of final points. Final points. Simon, we'll go with you first. Then we'll go to Anurag.
Yeah. So it's 144 years of cricket, right? And this is the first time that the original format in which cricket was formed has been given a proper platform for viewing. Just to say, tomorrow's match will be broadcasted in 195 countries. I think that's the highest.
Is it really?
Highest, yeah, 195 countries. So I think that's the highest number of countries a Test match has been broadcasted for the first time. So it's a beautiful spectacle that's going to happen in the next 5 days with India lifting the Test match on 22nd June, 10 p.m.
You should be watching the rain falling down in Southampton next 5 days. In 195 countries, that's all you're going to be watching, man. 1.3 Indians, 1.3 million Indians. While you're watching that, man, I just feel sad this bloody weather's, hopefully won't ruin the game completely. But sorry, Science, carry on.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, because of the connoisseurs of the game, the Don Bradmans bullying the daily wage workers and the WG Graces, today we are here, right? Today we have a Virat Kohli and a Kane Williamson going head-to-head tomorrow. So I believe I think it's bigger than a 50-over World Cup or a T20 World Cup at this point of time.
I think this will actually prove the state of Test cricket as we know it, because we had the perennial conversation of Test cricket is dying. It's dying all over the world. Attendance are reducing, but the fact is, if it's been broadcast in 195 countries worldwide, it can't be that dead, can it? Really, let's be honest. There's obviously still an appetite for this format. And for me, as a guy in his late 30s, is very much the pinnacle, because I was born and bred on this. I mean, you guys obviously quite a bit younger during the inception of T20, etc. But I think it's a phenomenal tournament to win. And I did see a stat actually. Virat Kohli has never won a ICC tournament so far during his reign as captain. So maybe for you guys, he'll end that drought.
So hasn't Kane Williamson, all right, and New Zealand. Let me.
Virat has won the Under-19 World Cup though.
Oh, okay. So we'll give him a pass then. Give him a pass. He's only got anyway. I want to get into the pools of players that each country has to pick 11 players from. Man, bloody hell. Anyway, so Anurag, let's go to you. Any kind of final points on this match? Any particular things you want to discuss?
Yeah, I think it's brilliantly put by both KK and Sayan regarding the impact of this World Test Championship. It really adds emotion to all of us, because as kids, we've always dreamt about witnessing such championships when teams are pitted in both home and away conditions. So I think we're able to witness it now. People have had really negative comments about how the ICC has organized this regarding the point system, or even the venues, or even you could say the schedules. But there's always a first time. There is always a scope of improving this kind of championship for the further generations. Maybe this could be one of the greatest final people have ever witnessed. So this could be a starting point of everything, just like the IPL of 2008, where it lit up the stage in fire. So there's always an inception. So I think tomorrow could be the day.
I have to agree on that, definitely. What's actually your plans for tomorrow, you three? Are you at home? Are you watching the whole game? I presume you're working. Are you studying? And
based on the weather, I might take half day off from the office. So I'm anyways working from home, so I might take the second half off.
Okay, because for you guys, starting around 3 o'clock, 3:30,
2 p.m.
2. Okay,
3 p.m.
Okay. Krishna, sign you off? You home tomorrow?
Yeah, watching ball by ball.
Hey, Krishna, you same.
Not ball by ball. I also have I work part time, so But I think I'll be able to watch the game. I mean, I have my TV right here, so I'll be working and watching. I guess that's
What do you
how it
do?
is.
What do you work?
I work as a part-time data scientist.
Oh, okay. But do you work from home, or you haven't go to the lab or the?
Yeah, I do it
office?
from home. Yeah, from home, just computer. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So you can flexible then. You can watch.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, dare I ask predictions? But maybe you can give me a bit more detail about how India win. Because I know you all three are going to say India going to win. But what are we saying? 10 wickets, 25 runs, 1 wicket. Go
Okay,
on,
I'll
Sai.
give you the exact scenario. Okay.
Go on.
Dare I say a super over?
Yeah, I know. Go
Oh
on.
no. Okay, so
Tell me as well, if India win the toss, do you bat or bowl first? Tell me that as well.
bowl. On this wicket, you have to bowl first. You cannot take the risk of batting first in this overcast conditions.
So how are they going to win India then? What's the prediction?
Okay. So I want Rishabh Pant to hit a straight 4. And then Mohammad Siraj just runs in. That's what I want.
Siraj runs in.
Gabba. He's talking about the Gabba
yes.
winning
Yeah.
runs. Yeah.
Anurag, what about you? Anurag, what do you reckon?
Fourth innings, Bumrah taking a 5-wicket haul and winning it for India.
Krishna?
Man, what do I predict? How do I predict? It's so
Come
evenly
on.
matched.
Would you
No,
bowl
genuinely,
first?
it's so evenly matched. I would bowl first, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But I really cannot. I just cannot. I don't know who's gonna win. Okay, even though I really want India to win. I mean, by heart of hearts, I really want India to win. I just don't know what's gonna happen. I genuinely cannot say anything because it's so evenly matched. I really can't.
Do you not think that the fact that India are obviously very rusty? I know the practice games were rusty going into competitive cricket. Surely that the fact that New Zealand have had a real workout. They've used 17 plays on 2 test matches. They've had obviously experience of English conditions over the last 3 weeks. Surely that counts as something. The fact that the last competitive cricket the Indians played was the IPL. Don't New Zealand go in genuinely, like jokes aside, as slight favourites? The fact they've got these conditions are more akin to New Zealand than India. And the last time you played New Zealand, you got hammered. Now I know it's not New Zealand. I know it's not New Zealand. It's Southampton. But surely, but they've got people, people informed. They've obviously got the results over India in recent past. They played a lot of cricket in their belt, in their legs at the moment. They obviously just come off a winning test series against England. England haven't been beaten in 7 years, and New Zealand with 6 changes, a B team almost, have rolled them over. I mean, even you, Sai, the most hardcore of hardcore Indian fans, can accept that you probably got a bit of a challenge over the next 5 or 6 days. No? No, Sai, no. He's in that much shock. I think he's actually froze. I think the screen's actually froze. He's man's froze. Okay, Krishna, I do appreciate your the man's actually shocked to a frozen status. That was shock said. Man's
Let me take
froze.
this question.
Yeah, go now, right? Go big eight.
I think with overseas tours and experienced players, I think India have now learned to take it session by session rather than looking at the bigger picture of playing 5 days. If you remember the test match which we've drawn in Australia, both the batsmen haven't looked at, taking a draw. They look to play the entire session. So I think that way, if India can take it session by session, make sure New Zealand pay for every mistake they've done, I think India's going to.
Fair enough. Sai, I think you're back. Are you?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you just repeat what you said? I couldn't hear you.
No, I was saying before, even the most hardcore of hardcore fans, as you are, of Team India, surely you acknowledge that New Zealand are a very big threat here.
Absolutely.
In this match. But
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared of Wagner. I'm shit scared of Wagner. That is one bowler I'm scared of. Not Trent Bolt, not Tim Southee, not Jamieson. Of course, Jamieson. But Wagner is the bowler because the way he bounces, he'll bounce you right over here. You can't do anything. You can't even move your hand. So I'm shit scared of him.
I'm actually looking forward to the IPL kind of in-house rivalries because I Bolt against Rohit Sharma, Jameson versus Kohli. You know, I think it's a little bit extra spicer. I think, you know, because the reality is, they've seen these guys up close and personal. What, 3 months ago? Do you know what I mean? So it should be interesting. Hopefully, there'll be a little bit of spice as well in this match. I mean, obviously, Virat Kohli's there, there normally is. But I hope it's. I don't want it to play like, you know, all nicey nice and, you know, doing each other's shoes up and tying the shoes up and all that shit. You know, I don't want to see that. I don't see none of that, man. Tie your own fucking shoes up, man. Tie your own shoes. You know what I mean? Fucking hell, man. I don't want to see none of that, man. Hugs at the coin toss and all this. Oh, good luck, mate. No, I don't want to see none of that, man. I want to see baying for blood in it. Do you know what I mean?
We need some of that aggression. I need aggression.
That's why I love Kohli, man. That's why I love Kohli, because he give you that.
Micro.
You know? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There we
go. Spoken like a true Merseyside. Merseyside's here.
Mate, you're talking horse rubbish.
There we go.
That's a big game, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, on that note, I'm going to predict a New Zealand win just to be different to you guys.
Tell us the scenario.
I think they probably will bowl first, but the fact is that we don't know how the game's going to play out in terms of the amount of weather. I wouldn't be averse to getting runs on the board and letting them chase as the game goes on. I wouldn't be averse to that at all. I think Devon Conway's in great form, etc. It's a tough one. I do think the fact that New Zealand have the kind of mileage in their legs also counts something. So I wouldn't be averse to batting first. And they do bat first. I think you can bowl India out twice. I do. I think they've got. I just think my only concern is the balance. I think India had a slightly better balance going into this game. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a really. I think that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say, okay, that team's definitely going to win. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel the balance of power that New Zealand has shown their bench strength. They've got players in form. They've come off a really good Test series win. I think that counts for a lot. The fact they're playing in England, and you guys got off a plane. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to back New Zealand. I'm going to go with New Zealand. So maybe Saudi with a 5 throwing himself into the sunset. Pretty well, actually.
You know, however, what's commendable about New Zealand is they are a country of about 5 million, if I'm not wrong. And out of that, they have been producing great talents over the years. Great talents like McCallum, Fleming, Saudi, Bolt. It's really commendable, their infrastructure and their faculty.
I think the New Zealand cricket board as well are probably one of the better run boards in world cricket. Most of these balls are in disarray, but the New Zealand cricket boards seem to have their shit together. I always felt that way, you know. Majority, they were very forward thinking in terms of the IPL. They allowed their players early on to go and play in the IPL as much as they wanted, because they knew they can't match, obviously, the financial packages that the IPL can offer. And because England were wrestling with it for a long time, South Africa and West Indies had issues, obviously, but you know, New Zealand, like, you know, it's very much go and play, further your career experience playing with world class players, etc. So, yeah, I think it's a really well run country as well. I feel a bit sorry as well, I guess. I was on the right side of the win 2 years ago in the World Cup. I still feel a bit sorry for them after what happened. And I think it'd be quite nice if... I do, a little bit, man. A little bit, what happened there. I wouldn't mind KL to lift that trophy, to be honest. You guys are going to win one of the World Cups, man, coming up, either this year or next year, man. You're going to lift one of those T20 World Cups, man, I'm sure. Do you know what I mean?
Dude,
So,
there's West Indies, man. West Indies is a strong team.
There's Russell's team, of course.
Oh, God, don't stop me that. Mercury, that motherfucker. Anyway, anyway, on that note, we'll leave it there. Aditi's obviously jumped off. He has to leave at 7 o'clock. You can catch him, Aditi Umeta, on Twitter. You'll see him on Cricket Fastest Magazine a lot as well. Sion, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Bastionot, on Twitter at the Jaffa Merchant, and also I'm there on Clubhouse. You can have me up. I'm hosting some talks with people about sports, mainly the Euro Cup right now. So, yeah, you can join in.
Cool. Anurag?
Hey, you can find me on Facebook as Anurag Reddy and on Twitter as The Obvious Mad Lad. Cheers.
Thank you, Anurag. Krishna?
Find me on Instagram there. Find me on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe my YouTube. And I'm also on Clubhouse, just like Sion. at Krishna Kalki. I think it's just simple. Yeah. So you guys can find me there.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming back on the show. Anurag, good to see you again, mate. I look forward to trolling the three of you plus Aditya over the next 5 days on WhatsApp. So I will leave it there. You guys.
You wish.
Oh,
you
don't
wish,
worry, it's
man.
coming, man. I got the memes ready, bro. I got the gifts all set up, man. Set up. You need a helmet because I'll be coming for your head, bro. I'll come for your head in 5 days.
I should have sent you. I should have sent you some memes during the England-New Zealand series. Maybe.
No, you can't do that. What are you talking about, man? You're not a fan of New Zealand, England, man. You be talking about.
No, but I'm a fan of watching England get destroyed. Like,
I like to see it. Yeah.
Who is not?
Yeah,
it's all coming out with it.
Morgan taking IGL.
You know, the banter's going to be flying, man, for those 5 test matches. They're going to be flying. What I'm scared about, I actually genuinely feel, I won't get into it now, we'll talk about another time, but I actually feel India are going to win that test series. Irrespective of how this test match turns out against New Zealand, I really feel India are going to turn England over this time. I think forget the scoreline 3 years ago. The scoreline was bullshit. Yeah. India was so close to winning that series 3 years ago. That scoreline was ridiculous. I'm telling you, India are going to win against England. They're coming, man. This time they're going to do it. And they probably deserve it. So, yeah. Anyway. Sorry, Simon, you want to finish off?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, England's top order is rubbish.
What is it?
Horse rubbish. Yeah. So, we are...
Why don't you say it the way you say it, Christian? How do you say it? What is it?
Horse rubbish.
Oh, God.
It's absolutely shit, man. It's absolutely shit, man.
There you go. Absolutely beautifully put. There we go. From the sublime to the ridiculous. He had us in the palm of his hands with his monologue. You know, he had it all there, man. And then he's got his abuse us Englishman. Abuse him, man. Actually, not about that. Yeah. Anyway, no, look for, but yeah, it probably, honestly, it is true though, Sign. Our top order and middle order is a lot of horse rubbish. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Anyway, that's for another time minute. So yeah. Anyway, listen, guys, thanks very much. Enjoy your evenings, and yeah, I'll catch you with you tomorrow.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
That's it. Bye.